Ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
All right. Welcome to tonight's North Ogden City Planning Commission meeting for October 21st, 2020. I'm Chairman Thomas and I'll be conducting tonight. We'll begin our meeting with an invocation by Commissioner Mason, followed which I will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thomas will be conducting tonight. Commissioner Mason.
Begin our meeting with an invocation going on. I'm going to pause for just a minute. If you guys can mute your mics.
Who will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Is that coming from you, Lynn?
It's not.
Lynn, is your YouTube speaker on?
Let me see.
Is that coming from you, Lynn?
It might be. It's not.
We got a delay somewhere, huh?
Let me see. I'm looking for it.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead with the.
It might be.
We got a delay somewhere, huh?
Looking for it.
And I'll wait for a thumbs up when you think it's ready. I'm going to go ahead with the.
It might be.
We got a delay somewhere, huh?
Looking for it.
Lynn, what if you muted your mic? I think that would help. Because I think that's where it's coming from. There we go. I'm going to proceed with the invocation now.
I've muted YouTube before, but I'm not seeing it.
So it's going to be up on the left side. So should be down here at the.
We've stopped the back feed, by the way, guys.
Okay.
Yeah, it did stop. Go ahead,
I'm
Commissioner.
going to proceed with the invocation now. Our Father in heaven, we're indeed grateful to gather together as servants of the city. We're grateful for the many things that go on in the city that benefit our lives. We ask for a spirit of congeniality to be here with us. We ask that we can make decisions which are in the best interests of the many residents of the city. We ask that we can, with the ability to see many sides of complex issues, that we can see one another's point of view, that we can freely express our opinions and listen to those of the residents. We ask for these favors and blessings in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. So I'll now recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we'll make note that Commissioners Lunt and Barker are excused tonight. All other commissioners are in attendance. Item number 2 are minutes consideration. Consideration and action to approve the October 7th, 2020 Planning Commission meeting minutes. Is there any corrections or discussion on those minutes?
Having just read them, I find that this is Commissioner Mason. I find them to be accurate, and I move that we approve those minutes.
Can I make one very minor thing? So on the first page of the minutes, it indicates that Commissioner Arner was excused, but Commissioner Lunt was here. But on the third page, on the first vote that we did, it had Commissioner Lunt excused and Commissioner Arner voting. I think it's just a very, like a typo.
And I actually did notice that and fix that. So.
Thanks, Lynn.
Uh-huh.
So Commissioner Nancarrow, were you looking at the draft that was done a few days ago, or are you looking at the one that's on there right now?
I'm actually looking at the one that was linked from the city website.
Yeah, I looked at that too. I didn't catch what you said there, but
Okay.
She's right.
Small potatoes. I just thought I'd noticed it, so I'd mention it.
Great. Well, I amend my motion to include that correction and then move we approve it.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. We'll now move on to our opening meeting statement, which I will now read. If I can find it. Before each agenda item begins, the city staff will give a report. After the staff report, the item will be open for all other speakers. The applicant will speak first and allow up to 10 minutes. Following the applicant, any other interested person will be allowed to speak for up to 3 minutes. The applicant has a final rebuttal time of up to 5 minutes. Any materials that are displayed or referenced, i.e. pictures, written materials, or part of the record must be forwarded to the commission. Speakers are required to have registered their full name on Zoom and will state their name and address before beginning their remarks. If you agree with the previous speaker, then state your agreement and avoid repetitious remarks. Speakers shall address all comments to the Planning Commission. All right. Any ex parte communications or conflicts of interest with any commissioners tonight on the... Dawn, you're a heavy soda pop drinker. Are you okay to vote on this, or?
I wondered how long. I mean, the other place, not to mention names, looks like a gold mine. So it's only a matter of time till somebody else did that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll move to our item 5, public comments. If any of the public in attendance tonight would like to address the Planning Commission for something that is not on the agenda, please do so at this time. Also, if you would like to comment on the consent agenda at this time, we'd welcome that.
I don't see any hands, Eric.
Okay. Well, we'll move on to our consent agenda. Subdivision Ordinance 2019-4, consideration and action regarding an extension of final approval for the Woodfield Farms subdivision. Phase 3, 25 lots located approximately 1650 north, 600 east. This is just their final approval just needs to be extended to grant them additional time to get their plat done and finished. So
I move we approve the consent agenda. If there's any
I'll
discussion,
second.
that's fine.
Yeah, I'll second that motion.
okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Commissioner Nancaro,
Yes.
Commissioner Arner, we'll circle around. Commissioner Waite.
I had
Arner, yes. Thanks. Commissioner Waite,
Yes.
Commissioner Mason,
Yes.
and I vote yes. So that extension will be granted. Moving on to our administrative items. Item number 7. Conditional use permit 2020-03. Consideration and action regarding the approval of the Pop Stop located at approximately, well, I guess exactly 325 East, 2000 North. Presenter on this will be Rob Scott.
Thank you, Chair, members of the commission and audience. Excuse me. The background on this project is that the applicant has submitted a request to have a drive-through soda store, aptly named the Pop Stop, at the address 325 East, 2000 North. Drive-in restaurants are permitted in the C2, and since this is an MP1 zone, this is then becomes a conditional use permit. So the site plan for this site was actually approved back in 2014. Then it was included as part of the office for Jasco Holdings property. That included a new office. This same building, you can see the site plan. I don't know if you can expand that or not, Lynn, but that might be helpful to everybody. Is to convert the office into the pop stop. So the building itself is 1,200 square feet. It's 30 by 40. And there's the existing landscaping that was approved. There's no changes to the landscaping that was previously approved. So we have, in terms of our ordinances, as a conditional use, it requires that a site plan obviously be prepared, and that's what you have before you. And there are 5 conditions or basis for approval of a conditional use permit. The first one deals with whether it's necessary, desirable service. Obviously, this is a type of service that would provide soda and treat drive-through restaurant in the community. Secondly, the standard is, are there circumstances of the conditions imposed be detrimental to the health, safety, and general welfare? The site plan has been proposed, and staff has informed the applicant that the parking and driveways will need to be paved and recommend this as a condition of approval. The applicant is planning on using the access way to lock it up storage. And we have received an email from the owner of Lock It Up Storage giving permission for them to use that driveway as part of this operation. The proposed use will comply with regulations and conditions specified in this title. The site plan, again, referencing back to, was approved back in 2014. And so we're talking about an adaptive reuse of this building. And lastly, the proposed use conforms to the goals, policies, and governing principles of the master plan. As an adaptive reuse, the use is the main item under consideration. The site plan has already been approved. The use is consistent with the mixed-use nature specified for this area in the general plan. So as far as design standards, in terms of colors, Brandon's comment was the existing color of the building is gray in color and uses stucco as a wall material with dark gray shingles. The applicant is proposing a light blue as the exterior wall color and one wall color with a sprinkle pattern. So sort of an advertising feature. So you'll need to decide if the color is appropriate. In terms of schedule of off-street parking spaces, the standard there is 1 stall per 40 square feet of usable area. The applicant has given us a number of 350 square feet. That translates into 9 stalls. In terms of surfacing, we have a specific standard in the parking chapter that talks about that parking and driveways are to be contained or to be improved with either concrete, pavement bricks, or asphaltic concrete. So this doesn't mean that their whole parking lot, obviously there's a lot of that area back there that will continue to be used as a parking for the construction yard and what have you. We're only talking about those areas of the site plan that are actually being used by the pop stop operation. Typically, sign permits, you've designated those to staff for review. And as far as the recommendations, I just mentioned about the parking stalls and drive access aisles. They need to be in some sort of hard surface. Parking, the 9 stalls is the appropriate number. The stalls are to be 9 by 19 as per our code. In the memo and the staff report, it talks about a letter from the adjoining property owner. We have received that. And then signs could be approved by staff. So with that, I'm happy to answer questions by the commission.
I have a few. So from whom did you receive the letter?
Dan Nixon.
not, well, not name, but from which property owner? From the,
As far as the access way,
yeah, I have a concern about blocking in what's going on back there. Like, so my other question in conjunction with that was, where's the entrance to Jenny's Jazz and Tractors and Tiaras? Is that to the north of
it's
those
to
buildings?
actually to the west. And they have their own, the parking for the Jazzercise is actually separated from this operation.
Okay, so but the entryways to those buildings are north facing to out to their garden.
Yep,
Is that correct?
that is correct.
Okay, and then can you highlight the guy that gave you from whom did we get the shared parking agreement or the access agreement?
So the owner of Lock It Up Storage is Dan Nixon,
Okay,
and he has sent me an email confirming that he is giving permission for the allowance of the use of that driveway.
and he owns the area to the south of the turnaround of the drive-through.
Right, he actually has access that goes back to his storage units back there.
So on this drawing that we're looking at right now, his access is actually part of that gray area that's labeled 266 feet deep.
That's correct.
Yeah, right there.
You got it,
Okay.
Commissioner. Yep.
And I believe that's just a secondary access. Lock It Up's main access is to the west of this property where their gate is and their office.
I see that.
Okay, any other questions for Rob?
Yeah, do we know, is there a fence right now going down to the west dividing this property from Mrs. Kavanaugh's?
I don't believe there is.
Okay, I'll address a couple concerns I have, the small ones, when we get to the discussion point.
Okay. Any other questions for Rob? All right, if not, do we have the applicant here? They'd like to address us with anything?
We have someone named Anderson, I believe. If you'll state your name.
We're Kelly and Mike Anderson,
And give your address, please.
3377 North, 1375 West in Pleasant View.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, we're happy to address any concerns that you have concerning the alleyway and the parking. We're happy to answer any questions that you have.
Okay, so do you imagine, is this purely a drive-through restaurant? There will be nobody entering other than employees?
No, actually, there will be 350 square feet of dining room space. And the people who are interested in entering the building can enter on the side of Jenny's Jazz and park there in those west stalls and then just come in. It's a very small area. With COVID, we don't know if we're for sure going to start. We're, as far as that goes, right off the top, but it will be drive-through from the very beginning.
So primarily drive-through, maybe a couple of tables eventually.
Yep.
So to enter the building from where your customers would have to park to get to the building, it looks like there's not a path that doesn't bisect the proposed drive-through. Is that correct? In other words, if I park, right, let's say you have 10 people in line.
Okay.
And I hope you do. I hope you're way successful.
Us too.
Yeah, I know, I really do. And so let's say we've got 10 people lined up there,
Mhm.
and then I want to get in and park. My concern that I can't get in there because you've got people looped around, and then B, that once I park, I have to cut through cars in a drive-through.
Cars,
to
sure.
Get into the building.
Yes. And with the alleyway, that entrance arrow that you see is going to be over just to the east. And so you'll have, if you want to get out of the drive-through, you can get out. You'll have a space in the middle to get out. As far as parking and stopping and staying, you can park on the west side of the building in those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stalls there. And then if those are all full, you can go to the east of Jenny's Jazz and park around there, and then just go straight up to the entrance.
Possibly a question for staff. Is there on-street parking here as well? Is that-
I believe there is.
Right here, I don't think there is, Rob. I think that road is narrow.
It is narrow, but I'm not sure if it's painted. If Lauren's here, he might be able to give us the real answer here.
Rob, I don't have an answer for you, but I know it is all narrow at that location. I couldn't tell you if it's approved for parking or not.
So I'll give the applicant another chance to address my safety concern. And I'm not a big safety guy, right? But I do have a safety concern that we're asking people to park and then walk between bumpers of cars in a drive-through. If you can talk to that and tell me how you feel that's what steps, how that's a safe thing, or how that's something we should approve. That's a concern of mine. And frankly, I think it's a great business plan. I love that you're using an existing building. I mean, there's a lot about this I really like. Some of the specifics that have me a little concerned.
Sure, we understand that. So like I said, we do have the parking to the west of the building, and we do have the parking to the east of Jenny's Jazz. And we're hoping, and you can't really tell from this site plan because it's so small, but that is such a large area. The drive-through isn't going to be taking up that much space, and the pedestrians really aren't going to come that close to other cars. We hope, right? But we can, if we need to, allow some of the parking just behind the building as well, to some of our patrons as well.
And the entrance to your building will face which direction?
It faces west.
West. Okay. So it shares that parking lot with the Jenny's Jazz.
It shares that parking lot, and they've said that we can have those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or whatever spaces there to that side,
okay.
Which honestly should be more than enough. I mean, we're only going to have a couple tables inside. It's really going to be mostly a drive-through operation.
Okay, so if I park, sorry to beat you up on this. So
no, it's okay.
Okay.
That's what we're here for, Matt. Come on.
If I park and I put my front bumper up against the Jenny's Jazz building, okay.
Yeah.
Now, can I walk directly north and get into the Jenny's Jazz parking lot and then enter your building without going through the drive-through?
Yes.
Or is there a fence?
Absolutely.
It's hard to see.
There's no fence. No, there's no fence. It's, yeah.
The graphic we're looking at, and you can see what I'm seeing, shows a discoloration.
It's hard to tell. It's very small.
You see that L-shaped gray area, right? That's
Yeah.
Yes, the L-shaped gray area. There's no fence. There's
like
nothing there. So
that's not a concrete berm or a wall or anything like that.
no, it's just a sidewalk.
Okay.
So
Okay,
you can walk directly north.
Okay, that helps. That helps.
Yeah.
I thought we had to come to the east, cut through the
No,
drive-through.
not at all.
Okay.
No. And it's such a large space. I think you'll be surprised once you get out there how far apart those actually are.
Well, I can see that you have a truck in the drive-through there that could easily do a U-turn.
Yes.
That was
Yeah.
the
So
first time.
it's quite large.
Do you think a truck pulling a trailer could make that?
I don't know. I think it's just a truck. I don't know.
Drive-throughs aren't meant for trailers.
I have a disaster
I'm not gonna say I
story
haven't
in
done
a
it.
McDonald's drive-through in 1991. I can tell you about in Riverdale.
Okay, any other questions?
Did
All right, well,
we address coloration while we had her here?
Yeah.
What was your coloration plan for the building?
There's a swatch down there. If you can see in the site plan, it's rather small. But that's our plan, to do a very muted blue, to kind of keep in with the theme of our restaurant. We don't want to be overpowering. We don't want to be too bright or anything, but we do want it to be something fun and something that will bring people in. We want to differentiate ourselves from Fizz, from Twisted Sugar. We want to be different. And I feel like this, having a color, although muted, is a way to do that.
Well, while I've got you, I think it's a great area, given that its proximity to the cannery and even Mrs. Kavanaugh's, right? It's becoming like sugar central. I think that's kind of cool. So, although I generally hang out on carb corner, but like pastas and stuff. Okay, that's all my questions. Oh, somebody else has some.
Okay. Any other questions, commissioners, for the applicant? All right, thank you. Is there any members of the public tonight that would like to comment on this item?
I don't see any hands.
Okay. Well, we won't have to have rebuttal time then. Let's move to the discussion time for the commissioners. Any discussion with commissioners or talk amongst ourselves?
Well, I feel like as an administrative action, if it meets our ordinances, then we approve it. And I don't see anything that doesn't. I did have a safety concern, which I think has been, refuted. I think it's fine to walk to park, and I think there's a safe access into the building. So I don't see anything that violates our ordinance that I can see, unless I'm not catching something.
Okay. Anything else, commissioners? If not, we entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the conditional use permit subject to the conditions in the staff report.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
One item, let's hear from the applicant. So this graphic we're looking at shows a stop for pedestrian sign. I guess I just want to make sure that's going to be included. I think that's going to be important as people are walking back. I really think that a car is going to pull in here with about 15 teenagers, and some are going to go over to the pop stop, and some are going to go to the cannery. And I do think that stop sign is going to be important. And so I want to make sure you're going to have that there.
Absolutely.
Well, it is on the site
yeah,
plan.
sorry.
So it'll have to be.
That was our plan.
Okay. I think that was wise. Nice job.
Thanks.
Okay, any other discussion? All right, Commissioner Mason, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Nancaro,
Yes.
Commissioner Arner,
Yes.
Commissioner Waite,
Yes.
and I vote yes. I believe that takes us to the end of our meeting already.
So Chairman,
Comments
just to let the applicant know that we'll be sending out a notice of decision here in the next 2 days with the prescribed approval conditions.
Okay. Thanks, Rob. Any other remarks from planning commissioners tonight?
I feel like you guys always let me be the jerk. We'll let Mason beat him up for a while.
Hey, I'm going to one of those places to get my drink. The person that walks in front of me, they're liable to get run over, but whatever. I'm thirsty.
Yeah, it's an interesting design. I hope it works.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. I hate that whole area as far as the 2000 North Road. It's so narrow and tough with the light right there in traffic, but businesses on either side, I love what's there. We just have a bad street because of the cannery is so close to the road, and it just tightens everything up. But But as far as the businesses, in fact, I remember when we approved the site for this building, it was set back off the road a little bit for room for sidewalk and some of that stuff that's not on that road. So. Any other comments, commissioners? Did everybody get their voting done and happy?
Not yet.
I always wait till a few days before because usually something blows up the week before. Or somebody.
And it's going to change your mind?
It might.
Oh, good. Good.
It might.
One of the judges that is getting put back in, they might rule not in your favor, so you're going to not let them come back.
That's right. Well, I always vote against all the judges anyway, so I don't know anything about them, and so I was like, yeah, okay. But everybody else votes for them, so yeah.
Speaking of that, voting, the one thing that bugs me the most, and out of all of this campaigning, is all the signs that end up being on public right-of-ways and different locations. I know North Ogden's done pretty good to try and keep those off, but I don't know if John, are you on? Do we have somebody in the city still that kind of tracks that or makes calls to have people move things?
Sorry, I missed that.
Just about the campaign signs that always get put on, city property, or meaning right-of-ways and things like that. That just
So
get slapped in there.
We sent letters to all the candidates, and we've been taking down signs and, letting them know to come pick them up. But we're not getting every sign because we don't know about them all, but we are focusing on some of the bigger problem areas and being proactive on them.
Yeah.
That's good.
I don't know why that's a pet peeve of mine, but every time, you'll see a campaign sign in an overpass or different things, and it just ekes at me because it's like, they don't have permission. Somebody just slapped it up. And then usually it's not the candidate anyway. It's somebody campaigning for them that just hurries and does it. So it's hard because it's not necessarily that person running that's saying to do it. But I drove down to St. George back during the primaries, and it seemed like every single overpass or something, you saw a Huntsman sign or somebody else out there, and it was annoying. But all right, well, if there's nothing else, Rob, do you have anything for us?
Just inform you that the city council considered the 7-Eleven project building again, and they've given an approval to that. The applicant is going to have to provide us with some additional information to actually give us a finalized site plan. And you will be seeing the landscape plan for that project on an upcoming agenda. So I haven't seen anything from the applicant at this point, but that'll be forthcoming.
Was the building pretty much?
They also have to provide and complete a subdivision.
Okay. I did have a question about that. With Meritage taking out bankruptcy, does that hurt you much, Eric? Or you don't want to talk about it?
I mean, from what it's been explained to me, there's been a situation up there from a past partner that's tried to claim some things, and that's been their way out. I've actually had dealings with the bank for the stuff I've done there, and the bank's assured me that our stuff is going to be finished.
And I just wondered about that and mentioning that.
But I think it makes it tough because I'm sure Visionary got a black eye from a public standpoint because their pictures were all in the paper of their buildings, and people are probably confused. And I know it's caused delays with them moving forward on their next section, and I'm sure it'll cause the same issues with 7-Eleven. Now the court's involved, but
yeah.
So if there are no other questions on that one, the second thing is that the Cooperstown project is been revised and is going back to the city council next week. The project they have eliminated one of the apartment buildings, and they have added a commercial building. And so we'll see what the city council their reaction to that. So that may get approved. Other than that, we continue to press on with our land use code rewrite. The staff and the consultants have been meeting on a weekly basis. We gave them a little 2-week hiatus so that they could catch up to all of the comments that we've made in our discussions. And so far, I think we're definitely on the right track to get that project completed here in the next few months. So
That's good.
that's all I have.
Okay. John, how about you?
No, nothing really to report other than, Rob mentioned a few things. With that code rewrite, it's going to take a significant amount of reading. So treat it like Thanksgiving. Either stretch out your reading stomachs now to get ready for it, or maybe don't read anything for the next couple of months so that you're ready to read. So I'll let you choose your preference, but we're going to, there's going to be quite a few policy questions that we will try to highlight. But there'll also be quite a bit that's just a reorganization that'll be the same code in a different spot. And so we're going to try and help sort through that, but we anticipate we'll have a meeting, present the document, and then make sure that there's several months of time for the residents and the commission and the council to read through it and put questions together so that it doesn't feel like we're going faster than we should. So, and that's it.
Okay. Well, good. Thank you. Well, if there's nothing else, we'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, that finishes us today. Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you.
Guys.
Good night,
take
all.
care.
See you in a couple weeks.
Okay.